Thank you so much for tuning into Power Talk. You're watching Conversations with Renee, and I have Given Baloyi for the very first time. He'll be joining me on this show. So, do you want to introduce yourself? Or was I carry on? Comment also, and if you have any questions, you can just go into my DM. It's Renee Maley, and DM me any questions that you're gonna be having. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being in this show. You know, it means a lot. It means a lot. We've actually been trying to shoot this for so many times. You know, it's just things have been happening. You know. So you're an atheist.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. I am.
You're and like firstly before we go any further, how many years have you been an atheist?
For about 6 to 8 years now. But at the beginning I was skeptical until I got to a point where I became a full-blown atheist.
And what has actually motivated or rather demotivated you to get to a point where you're like, you know what, God does not exist and I'm not doing this whole God thing?
Okay, so nothing demotivated me, to be honestly. So I went to varsity, I went to UJ, and I majored in business management in the course I was studying. And there was a chapter about religion during my final year, and they were saying every religions are the same. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to respect other people's belief because they are the same and equal as yours.
Which is true.
So I was like, oh, okay. As a Christian, I used to think that Christianity was the only truth and nothing else. So the moment they told me that, that's when I was like, oh, so Muslims are right as much as I am. Hindus, everyone is...
Which is true.
So I was like, oh, okay. As a Christian, I used to think that Christianity was the only truth and nothing else. So the moment they told me that, that's when I was like, oh, so Muslims are right as much as I am. Hindus, everyone is right as much as I am. So I started respecting other religions. And then I started trying to find out what other people believe in. Only to find out Muslims have a Quran, if Christians have a Bible, Hindus have a Gita. All religions have some sort of a book which is true to them and everyone else got it wrong. So yeah, that's where being skeptical started.
And did you ever like tell anybody, your mom, and you're like, is there God? Like, have you ever made that kind of research on your own? Like spiritually, you have to make that kind of research and get to be like, no, there isn't. Yes.
So it started with trying to study what religion is, how many religions exist, and only to find out that there are about 5,000 religions. Christianity is one of them, Islam is one of them. So out of the 5,000, there are like 5,000 gods as well, worshipped by human. So learning about all these religions got me going back to the drawing board, and I was like, okay, Christianity, here's Christianity. Then I started questioning it, where the Bible come from, how I became a Christian, and things like that. And through that journey, that's when I ended up losing faith and slowly losing faith until I became an atheist.
And your mom, did your mom know about this?
She knew, yeah. She
and
knew.
How was it? Because I know with black people, there is God. And how was it like having to go to her and be like, I don't believe that God does exist?
Yeah, it was. It didn't affect her much because she used to attend a specific church. And we grew up going to that church. So when I grew older, I moved away from that church. So already by doing that, I was a black sheep.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so the moment I come in, I'm like, there's no God. I was already labeled black sheep.
Like,
so it didn't affect
I'm a demon now.
Yeah,
and
for the fact that I moved to another church and not her church already, it was like I was an atheist to her because I was no longer believing in the specific,
kind of church.
Yeah.
So with me, I get this a lot, and for me, I think I had to be. It's been like a pleasure having to be your friend and have you as an atheist, because people have this mentality that atheists are like demons, devil worshippers. They have, you know, they have this bitterness towards God and all that. How do you feel about being part of those people who are labeled that? Like, as an atheist, what does being an atheist mean to you?
So being an atheist, it means that I don't subscribe to any religion. I don't believe in any God. I don't believe in a higher power. I don't believe in supernatural. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in a ghost. I don't believe in witchcraft. I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in anything which cannot be proven. That's what being an atheist means. So even demons does not exist to me, you know. And yeah,
you know, because I was hoping for a different answer, because the last time I was with you and I was like, God favored you, and you're like,
no,
you changed your, and you mentioned something about if there is God, then why does it have to be so much suffering? Can you just kind of
so yeah, I think it's very important for us as humans to take responsibility. If unfortunately I'm born in Iraq where there's war, it's unfortunate I'm born there. I can't say someone who's born in South Africa where there's peace and everything is well, they favored. It's just unfortunate that I am born there. I just happen to be born there. So that's what I was saying. When you look at the progress which I have made in my life and you're like, it's a favor, I refuse that being a favor. It's just that I was born maybe at the right place and I make the right decision. I was around the things like that. I don't think it's much of a favor, because if it's a favor, then as a humanist, I would want everyone to be successful. I wouldn't celebrate me having a good life while someone else is living under a bridge, while my brother doesn't have food. So if it's a favor, because a higher power is omnipotent, omniscient, meaning he knows everything, he's in control of everything. So why should he favor me alone if he exists and not give it to my brother? So I was saying to you, if it is coming from a God that I am well, then he can have it, because I want my brother to have it as well. I'm a humanist. I want all of us to be successful. I want all of us to be poor if we have to be poor. But I cannot celebrate me driving a nice car while someone else does not have it. It does not make sense to me. I'm uncomfortable. It's like me taking you on a date. I'm very nice to you, and then the waiter comes and then I speak crap to them. I'm not a nice person. So I view it like that. You can't be favoring. I cannot be nice to you and bad to someone else. If I'm bad to someone else, it means I'm bad.
It means you are. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Alright, so what are the things, like as an atheist, what do you feel that is very important to instill in your child's life?
Humanity first. Human first, and yeah, human first, because there's always a confusion about morality. People think that you need to be religious to be moral. And to me, the way I view it, if you are promised heaven and good life and living long and being successful in order for you to be a good person, or you are threatened with hell, because people are scared to go to hell.
Yeah.
Me as a Christian, I was scared of going to hell. That's why I was a nice person. I was like, if I'm nice to Rene, then I'm gonna be, this is gonna happen to me, or I'm gonna, so it's just a lot. I feel like if your morality is based on those two principles, to be favored and being scared of going to hell and bad luck, then you are a bad person on a leash. You know, so yeah, you can teach your kids without telling them rewards, or without making them fear something in order to be a good person.
But don't you think that it's not that it's good to teach your kids to fear, but having to know what is right in terms of having the morals, especially when it comes to Christianity, or rather religion, you know, because though I'd say that most people are better and most people are doing good because they fear that they're going to go to hell. Don't you think that also contributes into the environment being a better environment?
No, it does not at all. I'm gonna give you, I know this is very political. In South Africa, even in the world, there's so many things happening. Even the most religious people are the one who committing the most horrible things. Clearly, in South Africa, apartheid ended in 1990. We got freedom in 1994. Since 1652, black people were excluded from the system. Christianity was there. You know, and these are the people who brought it into the country. If that was the case, if religion was some sort of a tool to ensure that people have good morals, and then we wouldn't have all the wars which we have. We wouldn't have apartheid to begin with, because people would be scared of the God. But it's not about that. It's not about that. Morality, no.
You don't believe so.
think about it. After apartheid, the reason people started changing, even back in the days, it was hectic. You wouldn't go to one township to another without... People were very angry. Because it was a very angry environment. They were very angry and they would fight each other for nothing. But the moment they came with policies like humans have human rights, you slap someone, you get arrested. That's when people started to behave. Not because a specific book says it shouldn't be done, no.
Right. Well, we'll be taking this conversation way further. We're just going on a break, just right. And so, what is it that you miss about being a Christian?
Honestly, there's nothing. What? Maybe I would say going to church and socializing with other people, but I still do that somewhere else outside of church, so I would say...
So you don't miss anything about being a Christian?
Nothing at all. In fact, I wish I knew what I know right now. I should have left religion earlier on, because I got more free when I left it. I don't think I was free when I was there.
What do you think, when you think about a human being, when you think about yourself, what do you think has created that?
What created a human?
Yeah.
Well,
to breathe, to eat, to speak, to have a different personality, to all of that. I would say
the best thing which gives us space to want to know the truth would say, I don't know. But the moment we say I don't know, it means we have an opportunity to start knowing. Instead of accepting something blindly without a proof and take it as a fact, because that stops you from trying to find the truth. You know, so yeah, there's evolution. There are so many theories and stories and which are proven facts, which are facts. You know, if you go to India, in East India and North India, the Indians in the East are much darker than the one on the North. Evolution. If you go to Limpopo, there are certain types of snakes. But for me,
I'm always against this whole evolution thing, right? Because you must remember that evolution continuously happens. It does not stop.
Yes.
But how is it that an animal is still an animal and a human being is still a human being? How is it that it has never evolved? Because remember that for an animal to turn into a human being, there must be kind of a transition that was happening, and for a human being to finally be a human being, you still see people that are still animals and being transitions into like. So what do you think?
Here's how it works, right? Evolution. Animals which are evolving don't see themselves evolving, because on average a human being lives around 65 years. It takes about billions of years to see the transition. If you go back, if you look at the fossils which lived in the past, there's no fossil which has the structure which you have today. There are fossils which has the structures of humans which lived then, Homo sapiens which lived then, which shows that they've evolved to be exactly how we are. There's nothing which existed which had a skull like yours and mine at this point. So animals which are evolving cannot see themselves. It takes billions of years, millions of years. If you look at people who lived in the past, you can see the difference because of the food that we eat, because of things are changing. we are slowly evolving. You're not as hard as someone who lived in the past where there was no luxury.
But I honestly feel like there's something about our spirituality, you know, which makes me want to ask you this question. Do you believe in prophecy?
No.
Have you ever been prophesied?
Well, when I used to go to church, I wouldn't call it prophecy. I've never been prophesied. No.
Do you wish to?
I would love to.
If somebody were to prophesy the whole truth to you, do you think that you would still believe that God does not exist?
Well, I'll look at the possibilities of how they know that. You know, but me being religious,
if a whole stranger doesn't,
I would look at the possibilities. Because let me tell you something. Me as a believer back in the days, and I know every believer is like that. When you go to a sangoma or someone who prophesy, you want them to tell you what you want to hear. It's the same as stars, astronomy, Virgo, Aquarius. If you take those things and remove the label, it applies to anyone. It's very generic. So they'll come and tell you something which is 40% related to your life, and then you accept it. And I'm open to this. I'm open to someone telling me. But if you miss something, everything else will be wrong. You know. For me,
I don't think it's even about guessing. I've been prophesied so many years, and I think I did mention about this on my previous show. I've been prophesied for so many times that it was 80% of the time it was true.
But what about that 20%? Can you see how not accurate it is?
No, not from 1%. 80% of people that prophesied, not what they prophesied me with, but 80% of what I was prophesied of was definitely true. You know, and 20% was just people taking advantage and all that.
Yeah.
But 80% was people who told me my great grandmother's name that they didn't even know, that we've never met.
I would appreciate to meet someone like that.
Are you serious?
I would, please take me there. Take me there, please. So here's the thing, right? Let's assume God exists. Let's assume
Do you ever assume that God exists?
There's no God. 100% there is no God.
Do you ever assume that God does not exist?
No, I don't assume that. No.
God exists.
No, there is no God. I'm 100% Satan. There is no God. There is no Satan. There is no supernatural. But let's assume God exists. Think about this. If God exists, why would another human being who was born to a woman, who was raised in the same environment as you and I, have these special powers to connect to this God and come and tell you all these things? What's so special about them? Even if God existed, I don't think there would be anyone who has some sort of a connection to Him. Anyone who's telling you that they have connections to Him, I refuse. They're lying to you. They're deceiving you.
I think we experience life differently, and not that what you're saying is wrong or what I'm going to say is also wrong or right, but it's how you've experienced things, you know. For people to believe that there's God, it's according to them. It has, hence I'm saying that, how is it that you've never been prophesied actually? Because those are the things that actually have kept me in this, in my religion, you know, and what I've been through as well, you know, and things that I've seen as well happening, and things that I've dreamt about, and the next thing they happen. There's so many things, and they just don't just happen. I don't know. They don't just happen until you experience it. I think God is something that you experience, and until you experience that, He will probably not exist to you.
I think when I was a Christian, I used to feel what you feel as well. I used to think I'm dreaming things and they're happening and things like that.
So you think I'm being delusional? That's what you're saying?
Not really. But I used to feel these things until I went back, and then after I became skeptical, I went back and I was like, what was really happening with me? And
did it give you any peace?
To do what?
Being a Christian.
No, it didn't.
Does being an atheist give you a peace?
100%. Let me tell you why it didn't give me peace being a Christian. Firstly, I didn't want to go to hell. Right now in my life, hell doesn't exist. Heaven doesn't exist. I didn't want to go to heaven as well as a Christian. The reason I didn't want to go to heaven as a Christian was because I think I was a humanist since day one, you know. I was not going to celebrate being in heaven while I know my mom is not here with me or my friend is not here with me. You know, that was uncomfortable for me, honestly. So I didn't want to go to hell because I was scared of burning. And I didn't want to go to heaven because Renee won't be there with me. That's uncomfortable for me. So that's one part which was not nice for me when I was a Christian. The second part, I believed in demons. I believed in tokoloshis. I believed in witchcraft. And every time I sleep at night, I had to pray and ask for protection from such things. I believed in bad luck. I would pray for that. You know, I would be thankful in the morning, and I don't think this was freedom for me. It was not a nice thing to do. Right now I just sleep. I know there's nothing. I just sleep and I wake up. I don't think anything because I understand the reason I'm awake is because there wasn't anything to kill me last night.
What? So if you're as healthy as you are, and like, what makes you think? What causes death according to you?
It's many things. It's many things. Being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Healthy, you go to your place, you sleep, and then you die.
You don't wake up. It means there was a problem with you. It's just
what was the problem?
There are so many sicknesses. You know, it's a human body is a whole system. So many things work together in order to keep you alive. If one thing happens, if one thing goes wrong, you can lose your life. Anything is possible. So you can go to bed the same breath, sleep the same sleep, breathe the same way, and still die, and you still think that it just had to happen. Yes, it's something failed. That's why we wake up in the morning, the TV is dead, it was on last night. Something failed on that moment. So where do you think our spirit goes when we die? There's no spirit. A human being doesn't. There's no spirit, there's no soul, there's no heaven, there's no hell. There's no spirit. How do you sleep at night? Like peacefully, like a dead person. Do you dream? Yeah, I dream. What do you dream about? I dream about my son. Being successful, driving a nice car. That's it. My family being good, living in a nice house. So those are your dreams. Like these are things I think of all the time. You know, owning many properties, these are things I dream of, nothing else. Nothing else. I remember when I was in varsity, I was like, you know what, I'm almost done, and I would dream of myself driving a very luxurious car. That's it. And at that time, I was no longer believing, you know. And back in the days when but think about it, you know, kids are taught every day about these stories and in one direction, and they're not shown because we haven't even went to all the horrible things God has done in the Bible and which is accepted and glorified because he wanted to prove a point. But when you think about it, a nice person in that process of him getting the Israelis in Egypt, how many people has he killed? How many harm has he done? I think even if that God existed, personally, I wouldn't worship it. No way. No way. Alright. The last. Okay, well, I think I have asked you this question. You don't see yourself going back into being a Christian? No. Being a Christian, no. Believing in God, no. But I wouldn't say I don't see myself going back there. If proof existed that God exists. I always wanted to prove to you. And you always run out. It's fine. Prove it. No, it's fine. We'll make it. I'm going to prove it to you. And then after we're going to make a video of the experience. Yes. Alright. Thank you so much for tuning into Power Talk. And well, it's time to say goodbye to our